I have some amazing news. Wavetech is an incredible technical server and has no end of amazing projects always in the works. What's great about that is since I'm mainly a builder, I have a never-ending stream of farms and perimeters to decorate. So naturally, I haven't been making any decorations for those. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. Let me explain. About a month ago, my channel got a huge spike in subscribers, which is great news because I have a deal with viewers that at specific subscriber milestones, I'll release certain builds I've made. In the past, these have been somewhat small, except for this one. Holy smokes, it's huge! But for my 2,500 subscriber special, I wanted to make something really amazing. The end result is my first attempt at cottagecore, and is easily one of my personal favorite buildings I've ever made. Feel free to stick to the end to figure out how you can download and use this build yourself. So without further ado, let's get into building. As with any large build, you always want to start with a build palette. I had never made cottagecore, so I selected a wide range of blocks, flowers, and decorations for any possible need that might arise. Next, it was time to get building. When I looked up cottagecore for reference images, I saw this. My brain saw this analytically and was like, oh look, there's cobblestone and some sort of thatch. Yeah, I should use cobblestone and hay bales, and look what I made! I made this. I mean it when I say the end result is one of my favorite builds I've ever made, but this? Yeah, this is top tier garbage. Luckily, that changed up pretty quick when I started building without reference. Oh yeah, that's much better. For this mega build, I wanted to use a ton of different and unique houses, so once I got into the groove, I moved on from my first draft and started making a couple more. I think blue would look pretty good for this one. Yeah, I like that. This one, I'm thinking I want to be a little smaller? Once I had finished 4 or 5 houses I liked, I decided it was time to start compiling them into one cohesive build. Now, originally, this build was going to be used as a decoration for a massive redstone chessboard designed by GreenJab, but there were some technical changes to the machinery made later on, so I changed this to be a standalone project. Putting together the frame was as easy as copy and pasting the buildings I made earlier, and editing the gaps in between with foliage or on-the-fly buildings, creating a borderline Shire-styled pile of homes sticking out of the countryside. A little bit of a tangent, but I needed a tree for this spot in the build, and I didn't have any in my schematics folder. So what I actually did is I opened up my old fish farm deco design that I made that had a lot of trees, took one of those trees, deleted the fish farm deco, and then used it in this build. So I'm good at this whole organization thing. It was around this time that I decided to remove the chessboard and instead replace it with the beginnings of a citadel. Now, this tower I really enjoyed making, and the roof was my particular favorite, using dripstone, brick, and granite to make an interesting gradient from top to bottom. Once I established the shape of the citadel, it was as simple as taking more of the buildings I made earlier and scattering them around the structure, adding more trees, flowers, and other little bits of eye candy to really make this building pop. The other side of the citadel was more of the same. The entire structure was kind of an L shape, so I nestled a lot of buildings into the elbow of that L, as well as the length of the building. The build was barely halfway done at this point, but I was already beginning to see the potential. Let me know down below if you enjoy this build as much as I do, because at this point, I was pretty stoked. I also took this time to revisit the very first house we made, decorating every single side as well as the interior. It was my plan to use this as a standalone structure, kind of put to the side from the rest of the building. There is a helicopter outside. And I can't do voiceovers while there's a helicopter outside. I don't know about you, but one of my favorite aesthetics in Minecraft is large wheat fields, and I felt like that's exactly what this build could use. So, with a little bit of world editing magic, I made that happen. I feel like this is a good time to mention that you may notice my skin changing as this time-lapse progresses. Most of this footage is from Halloween weekend, and I hosted a Halloween skin contest in my Discord. These are the 3 winning skins. Shout out to Vola, Redstoneus, Corgi, and MC Ronan, as well as all those who participated. There were 2 final things I had to do before I could call this build finished, and one of them, dreadfully, was finish the back. Now, it's common stereotype, and true stereotype, that builders don't like to finish the back, so I quickly rushed through this as fast as I could, and I think that the end result turned out fairly well. The second and last thing I had to do was add texture to the build. I changed all the stone in the citadel, as well as changing many of the blocks in the roof and adding a little bit of depth. I also added shroom lights behind all the windows, giving the build a nice, warm, homely feeling whenever night fell. Finally, after weeks of effort, I can finally call this project done. I'd love to hear what you think about it if you want to leave a comment down below, and while you're down there, if you want to like and subscribe, that'd really help the channel out. This build took roughly 20 hours from start to finish, so any support is appreciated. As I mentioned earlier, you're welcome to use this build yourself. The world download will be in the description, and if you use Litematica, the schematic will be in the free schematic channel in the Herald's Hangout Discord. Link is also in the description. This citadel isn't the only thing we're building for this video though. Oh no. I also made a handful of perimeter patterns. Let's not waste any time and check out my favorite pattern that I made recently. Now, historically, I usually take this time to answer some questions from the Herald's Hangout Discord, but since I haven't posted a video in a while, I thought I'd explain my absence. Mainly, school. I'm in my last year at university, and classes are really picking up the pace. That and a silly little bug that I had with the replay mod meant that building videos were hard to get out. But I fixed the bug, and as the term comes to a close, I should have more time to make videos here shortly. Again, if you want to subscribe to be notified when a new video comes out or when I go live, I'd appreciate that. Speaking of, if you really liked today's video, you might be interested in watching the stream replays of this build. The link to that playlist will be down below as well. I'm sorry, but I could not just end the video without talking about this perimeter pattern a little bit. I'm sorry, but actually, this is one of the coolest things I've made in a while. I know that we just made a giant citadel, but like, no, put that aside. Look at this flat ground. Oh my gosh, it looks so sweet, and at this angle, it kind of looks like it bends outwards. Do you guys see that? Am I crazy? That is... Oh, that's so cool. I'm sorry, but I actually couldn't end the video without talking about it a little bit. Anyways. Alright, moving right along to the random goodbye generator. And in honor of my return to YouTube, I actually went and implemented a ton of goodbyes from the Discord and from the chat live on stream a few days ago. So, for the first time in a couple of months, let's roll this bad boy, and... Max has a Discord! Join it! Hello, stream! Oh, that's a good one to end it on. Cheers, everyone!